Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm here to talk about my monthly goals. Every month I sit down and share with you how last month's goals went and how next month's goals are shaping up and what all the action steps that I have planned are for my upcoming monthly goals. So let's just get right into it because I end up being pretty chatty in these videos. And let's start with talking about June. Overall, I feel good about June. There are pieces of it that I feel better about than others, but overall I am proud of the progress that I made in June, given the unexpected amount of other commitments that we ended up having. If you watch my quarterly check-in video from earlier this week, you'll see that that's a sentiment or a theme from the entire quarter, that just we ended up with so many more plans in May and June than I anticipated when I made those quarterly plans. And I should have known better when I made my June plans, but it's fine. Let's get into the specifics. So the first one was to do our date night box. This one was not any fault except the postal system and the struggles that they are currently having. Our box got lost in the mail. It did not make it to us, and so I haven't shaded it in yet, and I likely will not get to it by the end of the month because I don't think it's gonna get here. As of the time I'm filming this video, they have shipped out another one, and so even if it does get here by the end of the month, I don't know that we will have time to complete it before then. I'm not carrying this over, mostly because all of my quarterly goals just have switched if you watched that video, but also because we'll just schedule time to do it once it gets here, and I will let y'all know in a vlog somewhere how it went. The next two monthly action items were both related to one little word. I finished June and I am in progress with March. If you watched last month's video, you know that March is a habit goal, and so I am in the process of working on it, and I won't be able to do the reflections until the end of the month, and so I will be able to shade this off by the end of the month, just not yet. The next monthly action item was to have a financial goals conversation with Sam, and this one, like, not only did I shade it in, but it was just so great. It was very positive. It was very, like, we are in a good place and we're on the same page, and I just feel really good about that conversation that we had. And anyway, it just made me very happy. I'm not gonna go into details on that. And then the last one was to get my physical vision board completed and hung up, and I did that. If you watched the weekend in the life video that I posted where I showed the process of how I made the vision board and then the completion of it and then hanging it up, and I love it. I love my vision board. I can see it right now while I'm filming. It just makes me so happy. I will say, I did write pretty small on it, and once I hung it up where it goes, I can read it all if I look, but it takes a little bit more focus. Like, I wish I had made the words a little bit bigger, or like not gotten into as much detail. That way I can just glance, and like when I glance up, I see a couple words pop out at me, but I really have to pause to read it. But there are times in my day that I do that I'll just sit back at my desk and look up and read one of the sections. And I think that just that reminder is going to help me so much in prioritizing my goals and being in the right mindset for the rest of the year. So obviously, I didn't make a vision board until halfway through the year. Well, I made digital versions if you watch any of my prior videos, but my physical one I didn't make until now. But I'm so glad that I did, and now I know how much I love it, and I will do it in December going forward. All right, the weekly action items. So most of the weekly action items, actually all of them, I just have a different color on the last one, are my cleaning plan, and then meal planning is kind of, I bucket that in there. And that is just what I do every day in the morning. What I have learned, and I talked about this a little bit in my quarterly goals video, is I am not 100% consistent with it all the time. I mean, if you see, I missed one whole week altogether, and then I always missed at least one day, and so I didn't end up doing my zone because by Thursday I had to catch up from whatever I missed earlier in that day. So I just need to still ponder a little bit on how I want to go about my cleaning routine, but I'm really glad that I tracked it this way. Like, I'm really glad that I tracked it this way this month. I think that really did help a lot. And the daily action items. So the first one is my one little word habit, which I didn't have decided when I filmed last month's video, but if you watched my, I think it was some day in the life I talked about it, I decided to go with meditating. And I will say that I have been enjoying it. Like, I've been really enjoying meditating. What I realize is I can't sit still and meditate. It just doesn't work for me. So what I have been doing is stretching while meditating. And so what I think I'm gonna do is I'm taking meditation once this month is over out of my evening routine. It adds on to my evening routine, which is already something that I don't struggle to do the whole thing anyway. And so I want to take that out, but I think I'm going to try and tack it on to working out. And then when I'm done working out, I'm gonna do a stretch and listen to a meditation at the same time. So not something I'm putting anywhere in my goals, but just that's what I learned from what I've done thus far in that one little word meditation practice. And it wasn't perfect. I never did it Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. If I did it, it was Monday through Thursday, and then I usually missed at least one day of the week. So I did it about 3 days a week on average. Again, not perfect, but that's not the purpose. That was not the purpose of the exercise. And so I still think I got a lot out of it. The next daily action item was tracking our finances, our joint finances, and I feel like I did a good job of that. I feel pretty proud of the progress that I made there, and not carrying that over, but not taking it out of my routine either. Like the cleaning routine is staying, so is tracking our finances every single day. It just isn't in my power sheets anymore. The next one was to do my daily tidy, and this one I feel like I did a pretty good job. I mean, I got a good amount of check marks, and I think one of the things that helped, which I elaborated on last month, is that mindset of good, better, best, right? Like if I bare bones just don't feel like doing anything, but I can get the energy to at least clean off my desk and at least tidy my desk, I still got the check mark. If I had a little bit of extra energy, and this was most of the time, if I'm being honest, was this middle category, and that was doing my whole office and making sure my whole office was ready to go for the next day. When I had the most energy, which was very rare, I would do the whole apartment. Now, the whole apartment doesn't need that much tidying. Like we just don't, it just isn't that big of a deal. If anything, it's usually like a box of recycling that needs to get taken down, or like an extra piece of mail that's on the thing by the door. Like it isn't really that bad. My office is what needs the most tidying. So I feel good about this one. Again, something that I'm carrying over even though it won't be in my power sheets. It feels like they're all kind of like that. The next one was doing push-ups every single day, and I did this for May and for June. I am carrying this over to July, but not because I didn't do a good job, but just because 1 month is not enough. Working on my push-ups, while I do see improvement, it's something that I still want to improve, is my arm strength. I still don't feel like I can, I mean, I don't know when I'll ever feel that way, like doing consecutive on my toes push-ups lots in a row. Like that is gonna take months and months and months. So I think it is something I could still continue doing without having it be in my power sheets, but I also am a proponent of, if you have space in your power sheets and you're carrying over habits that you've already started just to continue tracking them, I think that's great. And then the last daily action item, this is what I'm the most proud of and I'm the most excited about, is closing my Apple Watch rings every single day. And as of today, the 25th, I have done it every single day. I haven't had a perfect month. It was in October. So it definitely wasn't 2019 because that was when we got engaged. So maybe it was October 2018 was the last time I had a perfect month. And I'm so excited and so proud of that. I feel like that's hard now that we're kind of getting back into normal. I talked about this last month, but if there's a day like in July, we're gonna be on an airplane to the other side of the country for 6 hours, like that day I'm not gonna be able to hit my stand goal. I mean, I might, but it's gonna be tough. And so I feel like just doing this made me feel really good, reminded me that I can close my Apple Watch rings on normal days. And so now if I don't have perfect months going forward, but most days, maybe I have 90% months, that's still awesome. So all in all, really excited about June, but let's turn the page. Let's flip to my July action items. If you watched my quarterly goals video, which I would recommend watching before this one, because you will understand more about what my overarching quarterly focuses are for Q3 that have defined the action items that I am taking in July. So first off, I did not, for the first time, put my goals in Roy G. Biv order. Now, I didn't get that much out of my comfort zone because I still grouped the like colors together, but I put the colors in priority order. So I didn't like mix and match the colors, but since there are only 4 colors on this page, since I'm only focusing on four goals this quarter, I felt like as long as I keep the light colors together, I would reorder them based on priority. So before we get there, I'm jumping the gun. Let's start with the encouraging words. And the encouraging words I wrote for this month are, never let your own thoughts become the biggest obstacle to living a happy life. One thing that I've been learning a lot in all of the different personal development, mental health work that I do is that thoughts and facts are very different. Is it a fact or is it a thought that you're having about a fact? Is it an opinion? Is it a thought? Is it something in your brain that's saying that thing, not based on fact? And if that is the case, let it go. That is not a thought that you need to be having, especially if that thought is being detrimental to your goal progress, to your happiness, to your life. And so I wanted a quote that kind of embodied that. I almost just wrote like, is it a thought or is it a fact? But I looked up a quote that kind of explained it a little bit better, but that's the meaning behind it. So when I have this sitting on my desk every day and I see that quote there, that is what I'm gonna be thinking about. And then the priority I put for July is just the word better. And that is something that I've also been working on, is just making better decisions. And this goes for all of my goals. The easiest examples for me to give are related to health and fitness and food related. And the example that I keep giving everywhere is that we went out to brunch and I still ordered the same eggs Benedict that I always order when we go out to brunch. If I've never been there before. Sometimes if we've been to the restaurant, I might venture out and try something different if I've already had their eggs Benedict. But if I've never been there, I get the eggs Benedict. But this one time, instead of getting a side of breakfast potatoes that it came with, I asked for a side salad instead. And it's just a better decision. But this can be done with any of my goals. Maybe if I was gonna spend money on something and I was gonna buy something, maybe I bought a slightly less expensive version, and that I'm still spending money, but I'm making a better decision than otherwise. If I'm gonna clean, maybe I don't have the energy to clean the entire apartment, but if I do one room or just one piece of the cleaning, I'm doing something better. And just trying not to focus on the perfection and being the best, and work on being better. So let's get into the action items. Starting with the monthly action items, again, priority order, but I grouped the colors together. So the first two are both related to my health goal, and that is to work on the No BS course. I talked about this course in my quarterly goals video that I'm so excited that I finally signed up for, and my goal in July is to get through all of the online courses. I may have cheated a little bit and started in June, but I want to get to the end of them. There's only 4 modules, and I'm already halfway through module 1. So hopefully I will make it to the end by the end of July, but even if I just get through 3, that is my #1 priority in terms of monthly action items. The next monthly action item that I'm actually, this could have been the do things that make you happy color. I made it the health color, but I mean, it's gonna make me happy, at least I think it is, and that is to go rollerblading. If you watch my latest day in the life, I ordered rollerblades. I used to love rollerblading as a kid. It used to just make me so happy. I prefer rollerblading to biking and walking, and I'm so excited to get my rollerblades on and to get them going. I literally just opened them yesterday, so I haven't tried them yet, and so I decided to go and put it on my power sheets for July to just make sure that I don't go a whole month without using this new toy that I bought. Okay, the next 4 action items are all related to the wedding, and I don't really feel like I need to go into detail on all of them. I mean, if you really, I could maybe do that in a vlog if you want to hear more about wedding planning. I feel like wedding planning is one of those topics that like not everybody is gonna ever plan a wedding again or ever, and so you just might not care. But the 4 things that I've written down for July are to finalize the flowers. We aren't doing really any kind of crazy flowers. It's literally just bouquets and the huppah. That's it in terms of flowers. And I already pretty much know who I want to work with. I just need to get it all structured. Figure out the hotel blocks. I've already reached out to a bunch of places, but I need to nail down which hotels we're gonna go with and get all that squared away. Figure out our on-site accommodations plan. Our immediate family and bridal party can all stay on site, but I need to finalize organizing where everyone's going to sleep, and then finalizing our appetizers. We have to go with a separate caterer because our caterer, which is Rudy's, and I'm so excited, doesn't do appetizers. So I need to finalize all that. And then the last monthly action item that I have here is to do my July 1 little word. And that's not directly related to any of my quarterly goals, but it's something that I still feel like I need to put on my power sheets in order to make sure it gets done. There are things like tracking our finances that I attached to a routine that even though it's not on my power sheets anymore, I still think I will do it the majority of the time. The one little word I have put in my Google Cal, I have scheduled time to do it, but I still think it's gonna require I think I need a little bit more accountability to make sure that I do it this month. And then maybe after a month or 2, I'll feel like I'm okay. But right now I still feel like I need that extra accountability. So I went ahead and put it in my power sheets. All right, let's move on to the weekly action items. If you watched that quarterly goals video, these weekly action items should be of no surprise to you because that's literally how I broke down those goals, was by picking these weekly action items. So the first one is to do 1 set of book notes. I'm trying to get through all of my nonfiction books by the end of the quarter, and it basically breaks down almost exactly. I have 1 buffer week to do 1 book a month, on 1 book a week rather. And then the next 2 weekly action items are both related to catching up on memory keeping, and that is to do the current week and then also to do the prior week. Now, if you watch that quarterly goals video, I did talk about how I'm gonna add a monthly action item, I just haven't done it yet, to get all those photos printed first. That way I'm in good shape. I do have the photos printed for all of March, so at least I can get started on that. And then I would just have to print the current week, but I'm gonna make it a goal to also go print all of April, May, and June as well. All right, the daily action items. So the first bunch of daily action items are all related to that No BS course. Corinne, the creator of this course, she's amazing also, by the way. I feel like I can't say enough good things about her. But she has what she calls the 4 basics to losing weight. The first one is getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I wrote down 7+ hours of sleep. I do typically get sleep in 1.5-hour increments. I'm pretty thoughtful about sleeping within my sleep cycles, and so I usually will get 7.5 is kind of my go-to. I would love to get 9. I tried for a little bit getting 9 on the weekdays, and while it does work, it sacrifices a lot on both the front end and the back end of my day, and so I just don't think that's an option right now. So really it's me getting my 7.5 hours, because there are times, especially if I'm behind on things or I want to get ahead because we're going out of town, that I will sacrifice and I will get 6 hours of sleep. So I am prioritizing 7.5 hours of sleep. The next one is to get water. Now, her minimum guideline is 64 ounces. And that's actually what I have been doing. And I've been hitting that every day, like by 2 p.m. It's usually not an issue for me to get that much water. So I decided to go ahead and up my water goal, and I made it 100 ounces. That number felt right to me. You know, you see a lot of places to drink half of your body weight in water. And I also see, like, if you work out and if you have caffeine, that you should have more water than your normal amount of water that you need. So even though she says 64 ounces as her like minimum, because I've already been hitting that consistently, I wanted to push myself a little bit more and go for something bigger. Now that works for me because I'm the kind of person that can handle not having a check mark on every single page. Like, I can still be motivated even if I don't check off every single day, knowing that even if I don't hit 100, I probably still hit the 64. And the way that I track that in my health planner is I actually just do a check mark if I hit the 64, and then I do a check plus if I drink anything above and beyond that. So what I might do now in my health planner is just do 2 check marks, and do 1 check mark when I hit the 64, which is 1 jug, like I have a half-gallon jug, and then 1 check mark when I hit the 100 ounces. All right, the third basic that she has, I'm actually not tracking in my power sheets because I'm not there yet. I think I need more practice with it before I want it in my power sheets, and because it's something that's really hard to measure in like this kind of a format, and that is to stop eating when you've had enough. Eat to enough is what she says. And that, again, is something I really need to practice, and that they have all kinds of tips and tricks in the course on how to work on that. But I don't know how to put that in my power sheets quite yet. And I may never end up putting that in my power sheets, but I just wanted to share that in case you're like, Laken, you only have 3 of the 4 basics in your daily habits. So the 4th basic is to create a doable 24-hour plan, and then obviously stick to said doable 24-hour plan. So I've actually split that up into 2 pieces in my power sheets. I did make plan and then follow plan. That way, even if I do eat off plan for whatever reason, I still got credit that I made the plan every single day. Now, this is gonna be tough at the beginning of the month because we're gonna be out of town for a week, and that's gonna be difficult. But there are courses, there are things that I'm gonna actually try to watch next week to make sure I'm prepared and ready for that. But even if I don't check it off until starting like the 9th of July when I get back from vacation, that's okay. That is still 3 full weeks of following the plan and making progress. So I'm telling myself that now, knowing that if I struggle with those 2 action items on vacation, I am gonna pick back up and start fresh when I get home from vacation. The next one is just a carryover from last month, and that is to continue working on my push-ups. And then the last 2 daily action items are related to my goal of making sure that I continue to do my routines amongst all of the transition going on right now. The first 2 that I'm starting with are my AM and my PM routine, because those are some of the ones that have not suffered, but I can see myself not prioritizing as much as we have more social commitments. Some of the other more business focused routines, like my communication routine and my content batching, actually maybe I should have put that in my monthly action items, but those I'm more concerned about when it comes to going back to work, that I need to figure out what that looks like when it's time to go back to work. So for now, since July is still looking the same, I'm not going anywhere, I'm just gonna focus on my AM and my PM routine, and that's it. Those are all of the action steps that I am taking for July. it's a fresh start. It's a fresh start that I didn't have to wait for a new year for, and I'm very excited to get started on all of these goals. But let's celebrate your progress together. I want you to let me know down in the comments what is one thing that you accomplished in the month of June that you are incredibly proud of. It does not have to be huge. It just has to be something that you accomplished that was important to you. Let us know down in the comments so that we can celebrate together. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday focused on helping you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for watching. If you watch my quarterly check-in video from earlier, so let's get into the action items. I am trying to get through all of my nonfiction books by the end of the month, or not the month, wrong.